Welcome. Thought I'd just record a flight tonight in New Zealand in the Pmdg 737-600 series, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, as I always do, right from cold and dark startup, all my pre-planning. I'm going to do a flight from Dunedin into Queenstown, so pretty quick hop, NZDN into NZQN. So this is how I would go about, jumping in this aircraft, doing my flight planning, choosing a route, looking at some maps, checking the weather. So a lot of, before you hop in the aircraft, is preparation. You can jump in a Cessna and, do some circuits, and that's great. But if you want to jump into a bit of a more complicated aircraft, the planning stages are very important. So here I am in the cockpit of the 737-600. So what I'm going to do is just come back out. I'm just going to use my keyboard, the end key. So I'm just hitting the end key on the keyboard, and that gets you on the outside. So as you see, I've got the livery of the Air New Zealand, and I'm parked up, and you can see the stairs are connected. Just going to go up a bit, and so there's Dunedin Airport, very small airport. So what I do is I'm just going to put that down, and I want to get up. So actually what I want to do is just cut that wind out for a couple of seconds. I just want to go back. Let's just go back to nice and quiet. All right. And we'll come back. So flight planning, look, I don't think you can go past Simbrief. Navigraph purchased this, or maybe, I'm not sure, maybe a year ago, maybe. So Simbrief's been around a long time. It's lots of YouTube videos. You just go into YouTube, type in Simbrief and how to make a flight plan, the new look Simbrief, import basics. There's lots of information on Simbrief, so it just saves me 20 minutes just going through it. The other one that I do use is Little Navmap, and once again, this is free. This is actually, you download the software where Simbrief is web-based, so you can download Little Navmap. It's free, and there's lots of guides just how to basically set it up. Look, it doesn't take long, and I'll just show you a couple of things. This may help you get that set up. So they're the two flight planning softwares. It's not the only one. Look, you can do flight planning in the game itself. There are other web-based flight planning that you can use, but these are the two that I use, and I think you can't go wrong if you start with Simbrief. I'm just going to delete those, delete that. What else do I use now? I like to have a good META website. So this is META-TAF.com. I think I threw them a couple of dollars just to open up a few things. It's so yeah, so you can come in and just check your weather. Like Dunedin, we just click on that little black dot here, and on the right, just a little panel will come up. So it's telling me the direction of the wind, so 180 at 10 knots. Okay, and we can see runway 3 and 21, so we have a choice, probably come off at 21 today. Now, if you click on this blue side panel, it opens up to a little bit more information. So you can tell me visibility, the ceiling, and my pressure. So inches in mercury, 29.91. If you, I think, come up to the little crank, little dial up here, you can actually change it to hectopascal. So whatever you fly in, you just change it up here, or if you're in miles or nautical mile, whatever you want to do, you can change it up in here. All right. So there's a couple of tools that will just kind of help you in that. Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to probably come off probably on 21 today. We could come into NZQN and just have a look at that. So just type in Queenstown. Once again, we've got runway 5 and 23. So we've got a bit of a crosswind, so your choice to know we could come through the mountains or we come over the mountains and down the lake, and fly in over the lake and come in on 5. So yeah, we'll decide when we get into this, a flight planning, what I want to do. So once again, ceiling 7,000, so we should have a nice flight coming into Queenstown. So I think the altitude in Queenstown, the airport's about 1,100, just over 1,100 feet, I think it is. So yeah, we'll have a nice flight into Queenstown tonight or this afternoon. Now, what other one do I use is little Navmap. I'll just pop that up here. It's on the side now, the monitor. I'll just bring that across. So little Navmap. Look, once again, it's this great piece of software. Does the whole world. Okay, so you zoom around, just hold that left mouse button, and with your mouse you can scroll in, scroll out. So the biggest thing, once you install this, you've got to pull in some files in from your sim. So all you have to do, probably come up to this little, actually I might pick up my mouse pointer somewhere here. I'll just load that. Yeah, so you can see all the yellow circles. So if you come up to like this, I don't know, pie thing, metal thing, if you click on it, it's your scenery library. So we're going to pull in these files, airports, VORs, LOS, and so forth, into the Navmap. So all you got to do, straightforward, is find your base path from your simulator, wherever that is. So I've got a SSD drive, and it's the F drive, and I've just made a folder, Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and my flight sim is in that folder. So I just find that path, hit load, and maybe, depends on your speed of your computer, maybe 5 minutes, you'll load all these. So that's probably the most important thing to do when you load this program. Once again, look, I don't hardly use most of these, you know, I have turned a few things on, but you can learn that on those YouTube videos. What's the other thing is, look, little Navmap, if you find airport profiles, you can download those, and I think it's in the aircraft, and you can see at the top here, little Navmap. It's Boeing 737-700. Well, I can't find a profile for the 600, but I've just loaded the 700, and you can do that in here. You can create one yourself if you want to, and it's just really the performance, altitude, and things like that for the aircraft. You can see my recent, so I do fly the Pmdg 737 a lot and the Kodiak a lot. But I do have the Diamond D62 and fly-by-wire little probe, and they're only a couple of kilobytes to download. But if you go to their site, look for the airport performance, you can, whatever aircraft you're flying, you can download and install those. Flight Sim 2, they do have a few too, so have a look on their site. You might find what you're looking for there. Right. So New Zealand, so I'm looking at my map here. So here's Dunedin, and you actually see my aircraft is in the sim. You can see it parked up right here. And New Zealand is very mountainous through kind of, it's called the Southern Alps, and we can see these like numbers 7, 9, 11, 3, 10, 5. They're called kind of the maximum elevation figure. So we don't want to be flying really below these heights. So these heights is, this one would be 10,500 feet, 12,300, 9,600, 7,600, okay, 4,800, and so forth. So you'll see when I make the flight plan coming into Queenstown, you'll see we're probably going to come up down through maybe the left of this lake here, and you'll see my flight plan will have, you know, I'll be flying at altitude, and once I come to the square, I think there's a transition maybe around here, and it's at 10,000 feet, okay? And then I come around the lake, and then I'll be dropping down, coming over the water, obviously, and into Queenstown. So that's all these numbers are. You just want to know. So look, I'm going to probably set my flight altitude tonight around 16,000 feet, okay, just because I can. But these grids, you can see these grids, if you're flying around this area, you want to be, and you're flying around, you want to be, you don't want to bump into any dirt. So 10,500 feet is an altitude if you're flying around these mountains. All right, so let's get started. I think we have enough information now to get our flight plan started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do my flight planning in little Navmap. I just find it has just a bit of more functionality, and then I'm going to export it into Simbrief, and then I'm going to just check it out, and then I'm going to save that. So pretty straightforward. Just kind of zoom into your airport. And this is how I do it. Look, like, you know, simming, like some people may use other software, but this is how I do it. And even in the 737, I have my own checklist. Now you can download your checklist for the Pmdg, and it's you know, from A to Z. It's very systematic, and you know, if you want to test your fire alarms, your stall warning, you know, everything like that, you can test it. But sometimes I have just limited time. I usually try and do my flying around within an hour. That's why I fly a lot in New Zealand and some short trips in Australia. So okay, let's do this flight plan. So what I'm going to do is, I know that I'm going to come off, I think I said 21, I think it was 21, and once again, having, you know, a second monitor, you can put this on the other monitor and check that. Come back to that screen soon. So go NZDN, just double check that. So yeah, we'll come off on 21. A bit of a crosswind, just throw that on that side there. So what I'm going to do is right click on that little blue circle with the line yellow around it. So we're going to set this as our departure airport. All right, so just right click and go in and look for set airport Dunedin as a departure, not destination. Okay, so let's set that as a departure. Now on the left here, you can see you've got a few tabs. You can put more tabs in, but I've just got my flight plan. So if you can't see anything, just go and look for flight plan. Okay, you can do lots of things there, just those arrows. So flight plan, and you can see NZDN or Dunedin Airport is that's not my destination. Did I get the right one? Departure. Yeah, so let's get rid of that one. Let's delete that again, because that doesn't, just want to go back to right click, set Dunedin as departure. It's funny, it's got destination. I didn't even notice that actually, destination, but that is definitely our departure airport. All right, so now we need to find that SID, or standard instrument departure, out of this airport. So we're coming off on 21, so that's going to be quite easy. This small airport shouldn't have too many. So what we're going to do is right click again and come up to show procedures for Dunedin Airport. You just left click that, and we can see we've got, for this airport, a lot of SIDs, some stars and some approaches, but I'm going out on 21, so I can narrow it down. So all runways, you can just say, look, I just want 21. So give me everything about this airport. All I'm interested is the SIDs, okay? Because I'm not flying into the airport with the star, or I'm not approaching this airport, I'm flying out of it. So I just want the standard instrument departure. Now just zoom out just a little bit, and look, if you got some charts handy, you can go and look at it and you'll know straight away what you want. But I don't have my charts up, so I can just go through and click on each one and just look at them to see which one kind of makes sense, or which one you would like to fly out on. So that's going a bit too far south, and this one makes sense. So let's, you know, come off at 21, make that right turn, and then we're heading in the right direction. So we're just flying over to Queenstown. So this Bassoff 3Q is the one that I want. All right, so what we're going to do is just come back to the one that you've chosen. Just going to open that up and right click on it and insert that SID into your flight plan. Now that blue line will turn orange. Okay, and I've just noticed that Dunedin Airport is the correct, it is the departure. And now look, we've got a warning, hey, you've got a problem. But it's not a problem, it's just because it doesn't know where to go. I haven't connected an arrival yet. So just don't panic if that comes up, just continue with your flight plan. All right, so what I'm going to do now, this is how I do it. I just come in and just set Queenstown as my destination. Okay, set airport NZQN as destination, so left click, and now we've attached the end of Bathurst, our SID, to the airport, and that warning's gone away. But I don't want to fly a direct route to this airport. I want to come in now and look at some approaches, maybe a star. So what I'm going to do is just right click inside that circle and show arrival procedures for Queenstown. All right, so just left click, and once again we've got everything for Queenstown here, but I'm going to, so I could come in both, so we could fly this challenging route or just come in over the water. Why don't we come in on runway 23 tonight? So let's go all runways, runway 23. So we've got a couple of stars and a couple of approaches. So let's zoom out and let's click on the star here. So that star's probably further out somewhere. Oh, it's way over here. So this approach, I don't want to fly here then fly all the way over here. This would be a good approach coming to the sea strip if you're coming in from Christchurch, or you're coming from Auckland or Wellington or any other airport north. That would be a good start into that runway. So let's go to 23, and this is the one that I want. So let's there to here, left of the airport, up TIG. So I'm going to choose that star. So I'm going to go right click and insert the star into there. All right, that looks good. Now I could come in here now and look at an approach, which there's two. There's a Y and a Z. So let's just have a look at Y. Probably very similar. Just going to, I'm going to go the Y, and I'm going to go right click and insert this approach into the flight map, and that yellow line directly to Queensland Airport will snap on to AppFub. All right, so looking good. Just a bit of a sharp turn this way to Magba. I'm just wondering, it's quite a sharp turn, but look, once we're in the sim and we have a look at the navigation system, we'll see if there's any problems with that. Yeah, anyway, so that's flight plan. Now, what did I say? I'm going to fly this at 16,000. So you put your flight altitude there, definitely IFR, and there is my routing down through here. All right, so that's my missed approach, coming up with that orange line out to Singyu and round and round and round until I'm ready to come back in and give that another go. All right, so everything's good. Look, if you're doing a larger flight, you could come up to this little chair with like a lollipop on it, and you could look at your airways, and you could set some airways for you. But this is a pretty short flight. It probably won't have any airways because it's pretty. But if you're doing a bigger flight, like from Auckland down to here, you would be able to find some jetways and insert those jetways also. But I'm just going to close that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, with Simbrief open on the other side, I'm just going to come up and export this flight plan over to Simbrief. So File, Export Flight Plan to Simbrief. Okay, and just left click that. Yep, I'm happy. I'm going to export it, and now Simbrief is loading. Come into here and just see this in a few seconds. Sometimes it changes the runways which this one has. So it's saying your route is not valid for the current era because it's chosen the wrong runway. So I think we're coming out on 21. So I'm just going to keep the current route, but I'm going to change this to 21. All right, so now we scroll down you can see if I just analyze the route, it's green. Green is good. Okay, if it's red, there's something wrong. So it's usually the runway. Somehow it changes the runways. Maybe it's saying, hey, the wind's coming in this sector, I want you to fly this. But look, I'm pretty much a bit of a crosswind tonight, so I'm pretty happy. So altitude 16,000. Sometimes that will have auto in there, and Simbrief will choose an altitude. But look, if you know what you're flying, just put that 16,000 in there. Let's go back up to the top, and flight info. There's not much to do really. You could leave these two blank, but if you've got an airline code, like I fly New Zealand, Australia, so I could just go NZL. You could do whatever it is. My flight number's always been 358. So if you online and you see 358 flying, that's me. So I'm departing from Dunedin, which is correct, and Queenstown is correct. I haven't chosen an alternate airport tonight. Now it says here you're flying to 73700. Well, look, let's just go down and change that to the 600. All right, and then I can choose economy 130. You may not, this could be blank for you. You can download a little file. I'm not too sure where I got that file from actually. I think it was, yeah, AWEMETER. If you do that, and you might find where I got it from. So it just gives you a bit of a profile there. It's not much you can change. The fuel factor you can, but let's leave that. I'm not changing anything here. Now look, I don't use half of these. I could turn a lot of these off, but look, I just leave them on. Now my layout, look, is Lido, but you may want your flight plan to look a bit different, your readout flight plan, but I just leave it there. In kilograms, you can change that if you want to fly in pounds. Flight maps, detailed, simple, whatever you want, you can change that. Runway 23 is correct. Flight altitude, once again, I'm going to come in and put 16,000 because I changed it. I changed back to the flight, so I'm happy. I leave my passengers to auto. I just leave everything to auto. And 21. Let's change that again. Okay, so 21 to 23. Okay, so 16,000 feet, and that's really all you need to know or to do. So just double check it. Okay, just double check. Now I do have the latest air arc cycles for Microsoft. Now if you don't know what air arc cycles are, just type in YouTube, what are air arc cycles. You get those from Navigraph. You can purchase those, and that really just helps with, like, your SIDS and stars are up to date, your routing. If you fly online a lot and you've got live ATC, you know that what they're telling you, you've got the correct way out and in from the airport. Okay, so all we have to do now is come up and I'll just generate the flight. So right at the top left, just come in and generate that flight. Takes a couple of seconds and that flight is generated. Now you can see the route here. So there's my SID, there's my star. So when I'm in the aircraft in the FMC, I'll have to come in because this route, these SID and star and approach will not be in the aircraft. I will have to put them in. So long as you know your SID, you can look for that BAS OQQ, and you can look for your star, and then we'll put that approach in, which was the RNAV, I think it was Y coming into 23. So we'll go and look for that in a few moments. Now, if you're flying in New Zealand and you don't have some charts, just come to this page here, aip.net.nz, and these are all free flight charts here. So you come down to the bottom to airdrome charts, okay, and they have every airport in New Zealand. So let's search for Queenstown and hit the little search button, and we have everything here, standard route clearances, everything that you need to know about this airport is in here for free. So you can come through and you can, you got your SIDs, you got your stars. It just takes a little bit of time to find what you're doing. If you own or you've purchased Navigraph charts, it may be a little bit faster, and you can pull those charts up in Sim. But if, look, I've got a second monitor over here. These are free, so for the time being, I don't need these charts. So Queens, I think it was Y, I think it was. So let's have a look at this RMPY runway 5 and 23. Let's click on that, and let's just increase the. So yeah, so this is, no, it's not. We're coming in on 23. So this is the chart that I'm going to use for my approach into Queenstown. Now, notice these two transitions here. One UGPEG and one is ACL. So, and you can see these are at 10,000 feet. So it must be inside that square that I showed you before. All right. So we're not going to bump into any dirt coming in. So I'm probably going to use this transition here, the UGPEG transition. So I think we're coming down the left of the runway. We must come around and down through the mountains, down through the valley and into Queenstown. Now we can see the elevation at Queenstown is 11,071 feet. So it's fairly high. So pilots that fly this route into have to be qualified. Okay, no Tom, Dick or Harry could use these routes into Queenstown. So you've got to be approved. So any jet that flies in here, airline, they have been approved with the authorities in New Zealand. All right, so we can see final approach fix 32. So yeah, we'll just okay, and you can see that this is effective. So it's not too bad. Effective 20th of April 2023. So it may not be the latest. It could be, because I don't have Navmap charts. So I'm not too sure if this is up to date, but this is good enough. As I said, it cost you nothing. All right, so let's pop that over to my other monitor so I can refer to that a bit later. All right, and look, this is a moving map. So as you see, you can see my aircraft here. So as I fly this route, you'll see the yellow aircraft moving along the flight plan. So you can have that on another monitor. If you've got a couple of 3 monitors, it's handy. So I think we're pretty well good to go. If I just I do have track IR, so I'm just going to put my hat on and my little track IR, popping that in, and we're going to hit F11, which I've got to center. So with the track IR, look, I can get around this aircraft, control 1 and control 1. So I can get around this aircraft pretty good by moving my head just a little bit down. Now this is a fairly large area, and look, you can tweak the settings in track IR. That's another. You can look at those videos on YouTube. But look, I do use my keys a bit in this aircraft because look, it is a fairly big aircraft to get around, especially the top panel. So the top panel is control 6, so I can get up here and look, I can see this whole top panel up here, which is a bit easier to see and also for teaching. All right. Okay, so control 1. Now the end key, I think I said that before. If you hit the enter key, you can get yourself at the airport. And look, with my mouse, I can get around with my right click and hold. I can get that, around for some eye candy. Now you'll see that I do have the GPU attached. Okay, it's and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So I could call on this power to get this aircraft kind of, semi-started. So let's come back to end key, and as I said before, you can download a PDF form for this aircraft, and it's all the bells and whistles. Okay, so look, first thing I'm going to do is just come in and I'll put the parking brakes on. Most of the time I forget that, but I didn't this time. Okay, so as I said, I've made my own checklist for this aircraft. Is it perfect? Probably not. You probably watch 10 videos of 10 pilots flying this and they'll do things differently. So the first thing I do is, look, I come up to control 6 and I just come in, and right in the panel second from the right, left, you've got ground power. You can see it's blue. It's ground power is available. Now, if I didn't have the GPU attached, this would be off. All right. So if I come down to control 3, it gets me into my FMC. All right. So now when you install this aircraft, I think it's kind of started. All these panels will be alive. And that's fine. You may want just to learn not to start it from cold and dark. You may want it to be in that position. But look, if it's in the cold and dark position and you just want to start with the FMC, if you hold the menu button down for about, I don't know, 3 seconds, this comes alive. So you can do a little bit of work in here. Okay, so look, I'm not going to go through everything, but your Pmdg setup, you can come in here and you can see my startup state is cold and dark, which it is, and the GPU is attached. Now your panel state load is here, and you can come in and start this aircraft in any of these configurations. So next page, cold and dark, and cold and dark. So this is the one that I've chosen. All right, so you can choose that and it'll be in here. So when you start the aircraft, cold and dark will be here. Aircraft options, I don't really come in here and touch too much in here. All right, you can have a look at those. You can change your MPC, which is your front panel. Front panel, come up here, this panel here, all along here, you can change that. And look, you can have a look at it. To the Honeywell, I've got the Collins, but you can just click on that and then have a look at that MCP panel. It may be something that you like. And there's one of 17 pages, so very thorough. Okay, you can go in there. I'm not going to go in there. Displays, once again, one of 9 pages. You can come in here and look what you're looking for. Return failures, I don't touch that. Okay, so back to there and back to menu, FS actions. Yep, so you can do a lot of things here. I don't touch this because I will do it another way. So ground services, ground maintenance, these I do come into your ground services. So I can, once I've started this aircraft or I've got the APU running, I can release that GPU and it'll just disappear. The cable will go and the car will disappear. Now this is one of 4 pages. Another thing I do is I come over and I get rid of my steers. Okay, and that will just see the steers will just go away from the aircraft. Okay, so that's basic, you know, some basic stuff there. Back to menu. And back now, control 9 gets me over to the new flight tablet. It's probably, I don't know, 3-4 months old now. And look, I'm still learning this myself. So we come into the electronic flight bag and look, why don't we request our flight plan that we made in little Navmap and export it into Simbrief and save that file. Let's pull that from Simbrief. And there it is. All right, so we can see our flight plan, our sit out, and that star. All right, now, because I do fly in New Zealand, look, there's a lot of airports that just haven't got the METAR, you know, information. So you can come in here, and there's your information for your flight chart. You can see, we'll pull this information into the FMC in a few moments. There's my trip, my block fuel, so that's in kilograms. We can come in, we can see our route. Okay, so once again, there's our SID, and there's our star, so we'll be looking for that in a minute in the FMC. And lots of information down here. We can probably come in, there's our weights, 16,000 feet, that's correct. So there's 660, so it equates to 16,000. So you can see, then Singu, okay. If you've got maps, if you've paid for that, you can find the navigation charts in here. So look, if you've got the money, you can purchase the Navigraph subscription for charts. So you'll find your departure arrivals and alternates all here. Look at the SID, stars, approaches, everything's going to be there. Yep, you can change things in here if you want. And there's the version. All right, so what I do is just click this button here, go to performance tool, and look, what would I say we're flying from? 21, I think it was. That's putting a bit of information. That's all I have to do. Import optimum rating, anti-ice will be off, packs will be on. Now if I import the weather, no METAR available, which is very sad. Need some love, New Zealand. So what I can do is come up to my METAR. Okay, so here's the Dunedin. All right, so what I'm going to do is so it looks like 180 at 9 and 29.88. Okay, so if I just go back to here to the main page, I think Queenstown, Dunedin, show you that again. So you can scroll down. Here's the Dunedin Airport. Okay, there's 180 at 9. Okay, so that will be 180/9. Okay, we can click on that. 189 and METAR's 29.88. So let's just pop that over there. And so what did I say? 180, 180 forward slash, and I think we have to put 09. We can't just put 9. We'll find that in a minute. Now my temperature is in Dunedin is currently at 16 degrees, and my QNH I said was 29.88, so 29.88, and we will see if it calculates correctly. No, V speed is going to be calculated. Let's configure weight, super indifferent thrust. Let's pull this from the aircraft. Yeah, let's just try that again and calculate. Okay, that's got our V speeds here. Now, okay, input from operational flight plan, input vehicle. Now my fuel is going to be lower because my fuel in this aircraft is higher, so I might have to come back and once I've got this all set up, I'll come back and probably import this from, no, I could probably import it from the aircraft once the fuel is correct in this aircraft, because it's calculating the current weight, which will be lower once I take some fuel out. Landing specs, we'll probably do that a bit later. All right, so let's get this aircraft semi-ready. So let's come up and kind of start this. As I said, I've got my ground power available, so I'm actually going to push that switch down, and the next thing I'm going to do is turn my battery on. So batteries, look, you can probably do your battery first if you want, but just flick that down. Okay, so as I said, I've got my procedures in front of me, so I'm just going down it so I don't miss anything. And next thing I do is I come up and I want to align my IRS. So just these are off at the moment. I just want to go around 2 clicks to nav, and we'll start seeing these start aligning. Now it may take several minutes to align, but that's okay. But you can change that alignment speed in the FMS if you want it to be instant or normal, but it can take several minutes to align. All right, so yaw damper. I'm coming over to my left side here and just flicking my yaw damper on. Okay, so now what I want to do, I come down and turn my APU on, so that little jet engine in the back. Just want to turn that on and make sure I press down to start it. And you'll see the EGT dial here in a few seconds. This will start that engine. It'll come up around, I don't know, around 7 maybe, and it'll slowly come down and hover around the 2. Now this is my kind of the bus here, and you can see APU gen. So once this is started, a blue light will come on, and I can put that gen engine to run this aircraft on the bus, and then I can come in and turn off my ground power. All right, so that's a couple of ways you can do it. Look, you don't have to have the ground power on. You could turn your batteries on, and I've never done that. You could just turn the APU on and wait and start the aircraft that way. So there's the blue light. So I'm just going to come in and just click those down. Okay, now I can come back into control 3, and as I said, go into those FM actions, ground services, and release that ground power. So that instantly that cable will go, and I don't know, in a minute or so that cart will disappear. Okay, so we'll go back up to control 6 and we'll continue. All right, actually should turn the lights on, actually, excuse me, I'll just light on so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm just going to go center everything back to 6. All right, so done. Emergency lighting right in the center panel. Just flick that down, and we can turn our seat belts all the way down. Oh, just get my mouse. And we can put our seat belts and non-smoking sign on. Now I think it's once after, I think it's 2 minutes, I think it is, of the APU running, we can actually come along and we can turn, what we'll do first, we'll come up to the top, the window heat, and turn those window heats on so we don't get any fogging. Don't need to do that. Now we can turn our packs on now, so over on the right side in the middle we can come in and turn our packs to auto. Okay, and now we can turn our APU bleed switch on, so that is here, and if you've done it correctly you'll just hear the air conditioning just ramp up a little bit. We can see that duct pressure is rising, and we can hear that the air conditioner is running a bit louder. Now, pressurization in this right panel here, look, we are going 16,000 tonight, and the landing altitude, as I said, is around 1100. So let's just put that in here, and you can, as I said, I think I showed you where to get that at the top of your flight chart. 1150 will be fine. I come and turn my logo lights on, bottom right here, so my logo lights, and I'll turn my wheel light on. Now, what I do now is I do come up to the MCP and turn my flight directors on, so just under the course knob you'll see a little switch here. Flight director, I am flying from the left seat tonight, so I'm turning that on first. Come over and turn that one on as well. You don't have to because we are flying here, but we'll pretend somebody's in the seat. Logo flight directors, set barrow. Yep, look, we can set our barrow here. We can dial that in, or look, it's pretty quick, just hit the B key. Okay, so we'll hit the B key on a keyboard, and that just resets it to, we're about, what, 20 feet above sea level here at Dunedin. Don't have to do that. Main, look, you do have control 6, some brightness here, you can turn that up. So if you're flying at night or sunrise, you can turn your dome light on, so dim or bright. So that's where your lighting is here. And also control 1, you do have your panel lighting here. Okay, your main panel, you can dial that to wherever you like. If it's a bit dark, you can come in here and just roll your mouse around until you use panels you're happy with, and over here on the first officer's side. Alright, so let's continue. Look, I'm pretty happy now to come into the FMC and do some work in that. So control 3 will get you down to the panel. Let's hit the menu, and straight away it's saying to me, hey, I need to find where you are. I don't know where you are in the world, so let's come in and hit menu. Oh no, we've got to go into FMC and position in it. So it's saying, hey, where are you, where's your position? So we're going to come over and hit that right 6 button, and it's saying, hey, I need some information, where are you? Now this was my last position. Now I could have left, you know, Sydney, and Sydney's coordinates would be in here. Well, I don't want that. I want them to find me right where I am at this gate. So we can see we've got 1 of 3 pages. So all I have to do is come down to the next page, and there we are. So GPS L, I'm flying in the left seat. If you're flying in the right seat, this is the one you would choose. So I'm going to go click. It's put it in the scratch pad. I need to go back to that previous page, and bang, I'm putting it in. All right, it's telling me now, hey, your route. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to request the flight plan. Let's click on that, and there it is, Simbrief, NZDN to NZQN. So I'm coming over and clicking that, and if you look at my fuel currently, it's at 11,000 kilograms, or just over. So I'm going to set my payload. Okay, so I'm just going to set my payload, and it says Simbrief payload set. I'm just going to clear that. So you can come right down to the bottom here and hit clear. Now 11.4, so I'm going to select my fuel, and let's clear that, and now we've got the correct fuel, 3.4. okay, so the weight of this aircraft has changed. So I'm just thinking, going back over here from the aircraft, so there's no oh yeah, there it changed, so 120,000. So I go to OP, it's 54 from the aircraft. So if I calculate, so these V speeds, we'll check those in a minute, see if they're correct or thereabouts, because I am using some fuel using that jet engine at the back, so I'm not too sure if that will just alter it a little bit. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll probably check our weight in the aircraft in a minute, just to see I do have the right one. I'm just thinking it should be this one. So we'll go back to control 3, and it's telling me the next thing I need to do is select the route. So I'm going to go click on that, and I'm going to now request this flight plan, because you can see there's nothing in here. I've just got my heading, little dotted pink line. So I'm going to request that flight plan from Simbrief. They're saying, hey, your route uplink is ready. So I'm going to load that, and route uplink loading. So it's going to take a few seconds just to pull that information. So just wait. Now I need to activate it, and now I'm happy. I'm going to execute it. And hopefully when we come up here, now we've got a full long magenta line. So that looks good. Now, when I'm at this stage, my next one is my perf init. But what I like to do is come in and set up that SID, the star, and that approach, that RMPY. So let's come and do that now. So let's come in departure and arrive. So let's hit that. And we can see we've got a departure, we've got arrival into Dunedin, which I'm not going to use because I'm departing Dunedin and I'm arriving into Queenstown. So let's go depart and arrive. Now this is where you would refer, just to jog your memory, is coming over the Simbrief and just double check you are putting the right SID and you're putting the right star in. Alright, so let's go in. So I'm going out on 21, so I can click on that and it's given me all the SIDs out, but I am looking for Basso S2Q. So this is the one here I want. So I'm just going to click on that, and transition, I'm going to Singu. Okay, so I know that I can see my map got Singu 4B, so Singu must be my transition. And now I'm going to execute it. So white, anything white, you want to execute it. And now I'm going to go back to depart arrive, and I want my arrival into Queenstown. Click on that, and I could come to the next page, and I'm looking for that RN. come in. It was 23 I'm flying into. Just always check this. So there's the Z. So there's the YRN, the Y23. Let's click on that. Now my star in is Sung. So I'll just show you. Is Sung 4B. So there it is there. Now my transition, which I said before and I cannot remember, is because I've got to get that map up. I'll just get that map up here, show you. So that transition, there was two of them, wasn't there? So Actil and Ugpig. So this is the one I want because I'm flying down here and I just want to come in and connect to Ugpig. So this is the one I want. So click, yep, and execute. Alright, so that's my route in. Now what I do, because this is a sim and sometimes, you know, we just need to check everything. So what I do now is just to check. I go from my map and I just switch it to plan. Alright, and you can increase and decrease the size of your plan by just this dial here. Okay, so what I do, I know that will do, and I come and hit the right alt key, because the right alt key and left clicking any of these panels will pop out. Okay, so I'm just going to left click and I just drag this down to the bottom of my screen, go back into my FMS, just scroll that to the side. So what I'm doing, I'm going to go into my legs page. Okay, and there's my aircraft. So I'm just looking if everything is correct. So yep, I'm tracking south, making that right turn. There's a little step here, so that right 6 button, I can click on that and I can go through this plan, just looking at it. There's Singyu, and I do have a broken line here. So that, as I said, I think I said before that this is a really tight turn. It's saying nah, I can't do that. Alright, and let's see what that says. That's off bypass magma. Okay, so look, we could delete Mabga. Let's I think we just got to click, I think delete. So delete. Oh, we'll go delete Magpa, execute, and then we can see we have a discontinuity. We go to the bottom of that discontinuity, Ugpig, which is our transition, click on that. Oh, okay, I think I stuffed that up. So I've got two Gospers. I'm just going to go. Okay, let's Gosper. Alright, I've got to go to the next page. Uptig. To that. Uptig. To that. Alright, and execute it. Alright, so now we've got a connected route. So we can continue, and you can see there's a lot of waypoints into. You can see our flight level. So when I turn LNAV, VNAV on, it will fly these altitudes. All I've got to do is really manage my airspeed, which will come up a bit later. Alright, all these routes down. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Everything looks good. And I can turn that back to map. And I might flick that right down to 5 nautical. Right, I better go back to my checklist. Okay, so let's go to control 3. And there's a couple of little things you can do, which I do. So I come to my descent button and I just get my descent forecast. Alright, and I request it. Make sure I've clicked on that. Just wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, usually a grey box comes around. Now I'm thinking I've got to go back to my init ref first. So I've got to pull my init data in. So all we have to do here is your perf init request is click on that button, and that's going to pull everything in from Simbrief. My zero fuel weight, my reserves, my cost index. So just wait, the grey box will go out, just wait, and it should come on this side. Load, hit the load button and execute, and there's the information. But I just noticed my flight level saying, hey, 22,000. Look, I do want to fly at 16 tonight, so I'm just going to whack in 160, hit that, execute, and everything is looking good. Now the cruise weight, gross weight is 54.7. So let's go back over here, 54.7. So look, yeah, so definitely import from OFP once you've loaded all this up. Okay, so V2 will be 129. Okay, it's going to recalculate. Yep. Saying unable 250 knots to Singu. That's all right. We'll slow down before we get to Singu. Just clear that. That might pop up a bit regularly, but we'll continue. 1 or 2 pages. There's nothing in there that I need to change. N1 limit is the next thing we have to put in, well, to view, so we can decelerate our takeoff thrust. But this is a fairly small airstrip, so I'm going to go out in full power, and our takeoff is important. So referring to the panel, it said notice it was flaps was 1, so I'm just going to come and hit 1. There it is in the scratch pad. Now I need to find my center of gravity, so hit that twice, and we've got our trim at 498. So control 2, and I'm going to come in. Here's my trim here, and it's sitting about 6. So I want to put it down to, there's around 5, and look, I'm pretty happy. That's good enough for me. Back to 3, and we can come and put our V speeds in now. So 1, 2, 3. So V2 will be 130. And what did we say over here? V2 129. I'm happy with that. Okay, and that is looking good. Another thing that I do is just for a visual reference of how far I'm away from the airstrip when I'm landing, I do put a fix into Queenstown, so that is NZQN, and I pop that into there, and I have a little ring around the airport of around, I don't know, 10 nautical, so / and let's go 12 nautical tonight. Put that in there, and you'll see a circle. If I zoom out on this, the primary flight display, you'll see a ring around Queensland. It just kind of reminds me, hey, start looking at getting your gear down and finishing that those procedures. All right, looking good. Okay, now back to my flight plan. Flight char, so turn fuel pumps on. Look, we can come up here now and turn our fuel pumps. Okay, for them. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come and actually call the tug. Let's go tug.
Ground. This is ground. Stand by.
All right, because we're just about ready to get pushed back. Okay, so fuel pumps on. Back up to control 6, and I'll turn my electric switches down on the hydraulic pumps. So 1, 2. It's all good. And come and turn my anti-collision lights on, and I'll be turning my packs off in a few moments, because you cannot start these engines without turning these packs off. You need all that air to start it.
And all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
All right, guess what? I need to turn, which I always do.
Standing by for
And
pushback.
let's make sure the steers go bye-byes. All right. Alright, so that will be departing. Hopefully. Okay. Alright, control 6. Let's turn the bleed air off. And let's start getting reverse
Cockpit to
out
ground.
of here.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push. Parking brakes set.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Brake. Correct.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Now I'll just turn my push back just a little bit slower so that I'm not kind of rushing. Alright, so we're ready to start these engines. So as I said, just make sure those packs are off before you come down to engine start. And look, we'll start the port engine. So all we're going to do is switch it to the left, to GRD. And if we come down to control 2, we should see the N2 on the engine starting to rise. And you can actually hear it. Now we need to introduce our fuel. The book says around 25. So we can just come down. We can see our fuel switches down here below the throttle. So 21, 22, 23, 24. That's good enough. So let's lift that fuel panel up. And we will watch our engines start to... Yep, EGT is rising. Looks good. Alright, so we'll just wait till the engine starts. Alright. And this will just click back to the center where it was before. Just wait for that click and we'll start the starboard engine. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I'm happy now to come over and click that to the left. Come in, make sure everything is coming up. Yep. $21. And thereabouts. So let's flick 2. And we will come around. We could probably speed up now. And we can see 21 and 3, so we were going out on 21. Okay. Speed up a bit more. Alright, let's stop pushback.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Brake on.
Parking brakes set.
Parking
Let's
brake
kick off
set.
that.
Lowering aircraft.
Alright, so while they're lowering, back to the checklist because there's a few things we have to do now. So
Startup
once
is complete. You may
the
disconnect.
engine has started, we've got to put
Roger.
that
Good
on
engine start.
the bus.
Cleared to
So what we're going to do is
disconnect.
come
See you at
back
the
to
side.
where
Have
we
a good
started
flight.
the
Holding
AP
position
gen.
waiting for the visual.
We need
Thank you
to
and
put
goodbye.
those engines now running. So flick down, flick down. Okay, we can see the APU's off now. Okay, we come up and turn the probes on. So right at the top under the window heating, we can turn our probes on now. We can turn our packs back to auto. Get that nice fresh air in. We can turn our packs back to auto, which we've done. Our bleeds can go off. And my isolation valve, the switch here, can go to auto. Now my APU, I'm going to turn off now. I don't need that to be running, so I'm just going to turn that APU off. Start switches to continuous. Just flick that to the right. And flap to 1. So there's my flap indicator next to my auto brake. Now I just noticed I should have turned my auto brake, well it doesn't matter, I must have missed it on my checklist, I know it's there, but my auto brake to RTO. So there's flap 1, it's all set, look, we're looking good. Control 1, brake can go off, just do my seat, so my up and down arrows on my keyboard. I can come in, let me turn our taxi on and head out to runway 21. Now I don't have any ATC, I've turned off all aircraft in the sim just to make it a bit quicker. But I noticed the same how your TCAS is off, which there's no aircraft in the sim, so I don't have to worry about it. But look, I'm actually going to turn that off. So TCAS there. I'm just going to rotate that to the right. Going to turn my runway lights can go on. Just going to hang a left here. Alright, so it's quite a large aircraft to get around, so look, it's just kind of practice, you know, a bit of power, you know, your rudders, I've got rudder pedals, so yeah, so it's a bit of power, you don't want to go too fast, but look, it's just a bit of power, a bit of rudder, and we'll try and get around here. As I said, it's a fairly Alright, we'll try and centre it up. I actually centre it up on the fire warning and master caution, roughly, you know, give or take. If you come out the aircraft and have a look, it's, you know, not too bad. Alright, alright, so let's look. A couple of things I need to do now is just arm, put my VNav and LNav, and I come in and make sure, I know that I've done it, but just make sure my flight directors are on, auto throttle's armed. Now my altitude, I could put that in now, why not, to 16,000. 16,000. So 130. Alright, so it all pretty good. Flat set, RTO set. Now the biggest thing, alarms, would be if your speed brake is active. So I've got a little button here, so I know that's depressed, but my speed brake is here, so I can depress my speed brakes down and it will be seated in. And I think it comes up just here. Yes, so if I put that back, it's off. So always check your speed brake is seated. And I'm just going to press my B key again, make sure that I do have my barra is correct at 29.87. Look, you can turn your landing lights on if you want. So everything's looking good. We can come up and have a look, just one check from the panel, looking good. Alright, let's get out of here. So I've got my pedals pressed down. I'm just going to for toga in this aircraft, there's a special button. Well, you've got to actually put your under the course button there's a little handle come up. Okay, that's your toga switch there, which you can't see it. So all you have to do is click toga. Okay, brakes released.
Airspeed alive.
So we can see our airspeed tape on the primary flight speed. We can see our V speeds are here.
80 knots.
So 80 knots. And the pink magenta line I will be flying to, so rotating. See that pink
Positive rate of
horizontal line and gear up. So I'm just flying to that pink magenta line, and we'll just fly this manually. Alright, why don't we just, we're pretty stable, so let's set autopilot, and we can see autopilot light has come on over here, it's green, so hands off, and let's put our flap up. We can turn our taxi light, running lights. We're climbing just 3,000-4,000. Now Valnav's active, looking good. We can increase our map to 20 nautical so we can see our right turn has come out in a few minutes. We can see our TC on the map, so our topper climb, so 16,000. uh, 10,000, our landing lights can come up, and we can put our barra to standard. I'm pretty happy about now. Now, if you had fuel in the center tank, just make sure that your fuel pumps are on for that center tanks. All right. Put my anti-skid to, I think it's 3. So top of climbs coming up, so there's 13,000. You can see the wind coming in from our about 10 o'clock, or at 236 slash at 37, 38 knot. our ground speed and our airspeed. Oh god, I can't think what T is now. So ground speed, gosh, it's just forgotten. All right, we can see our 16,000 is a few seconds away, and we're pretty well bang on our top of climb. Excellent. All right, looking good. So our airspeed now coming up to what, just under 330 by the looks of it. Looking good. So I'm going to come back into here and let's have a play with this. So that's virtually all done. My landing dispatch coming into 23. So I'm coming into 23 tonight. So there's my elevation at Queenstown, the airport. It's dry. My packs will be on, no anti-icing, saying landing tax 30. Look, you could change that if you wanted to. Let's go 40. Weather, once again, no love for Queenstown, so we've got to go and find the wind. So back to NZQN, the meter. Let's have a look at that. Alright, so our wind is coming in at 20, right, so 200/9 is 17 degrees, and the QNH is 29.88. So we'll see how that 29.8 and calculate. Click the calculate. No meter available for the air station. Yeah, I know that. And so our VREF will be 131. So we'll come and have a look at VREF. So go back to control 3 and come into init ref, and we're going in at 40 flaps. Click on that. Click on that. So it's saying 40 at 125. So 125 plus 5, so 25 for 130. So pretty well bang on. I'm happy with that. Now if we come into the primary flight display, that will be we come into, sorry, the left panel, it will be 40 at 125 plus 5, so 130 will be our landing speed at 40 degrees flaps. All right. All right, just pop that around, and just want to hit the right Alt key, just bring this up, and I can expand this to, I just want to see what my TOD is. It's right here, that green circle. So I need to change my altitude down to where I want to go before I hit the TOD. So I just want to have a look at my chart, and my chart is here, and RMP is 1875. So what I'm going to do, I can probably do it now, it's not going to hurt, is come down and just change this. It's going to go a bit lower than I should, but just, so I'm going to put in 1875 or 18. Yeah, 1900, that'll be fine. Alright. So 1875, yep. Well, so see that circle, that's when I put that fix in, NZQN, and then I put that /, and you can put in 10 nautical. So that is, I think I put in 12 nautical. So that just gives me, when I'm coming in to land, it's kind of a visual that, hey, it's kind of warning, hey, get your gear down. You should be pretty well set. Maybe a couple of flat settings to go. But I will, tonight, I'm going to actually fly this manual airspeed. I'm going to just follow my route, which is here. I'm actually going to, so you can see all these points here. I'm going to come in to legs. Now what? I've got discontinuities. Okay, that's not good. So I'm going to come in. I didn't see that before. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to get rid of Gosper. We shouldn't have elite and then up. All right. Yeah, so just good to check. I didn't see that discontinuity there, so yeah, it's good to go back into your legs page and just double check that. So yeah, I'm just going to fly the airspeed, which will be here. So as I come down, 210, 26, 96, 144. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 130. Okay. Now, if this is not set, just go into FMC and look for that. I'll bring a little Navmap over. Yep, looking good. Flying that route. 10,000 above, so we're at 16,000, so we're all good. I'm not going to bump into anything. Right, I think Singu was at 250, but look, we're just jolling along quite nicely, so we'll just continue for a few seconds. So what I want to do is come down. Why don't we pull right, Alt, click this up, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to come, I've got 23 nautical to hit in cover, so let's maybe just drop our airspeed, which is going to put it into speed, and we're going to come down and just drop that to 250. And we see the speed bug, this little pink line. So I'm just going down to 250 just to keep everyone happy. So Queenstown is actually around here. The airport's just sitting here. So we're going to fly over here, come around and down the valley and land. Righto, LNAV, VNAV still active, pretty good. Oh, 250. Righto, so we need to be, I'm just looking at here, it's saying 12868 altitude, 11 nautical to go, so yeah, we're heading down, so it's going to look for that 12868. Yeah, the airstrip's just hidden behind this little mountain here. Oh, actually, yeah, there it is there. It's right through here. I actually just flew into this airport a couple of weeks ago. We came in over the lake, so come down through here and landed. And I think I actually took off down the lake also and went out about a week later. Beautiful part of New Zealand, yeah, great food. Actually drove around to Milford Sound, did that 2-hour cruise on the boat, absolutely fantastic. Had gale force winds, rain, all the waterfalls were just pumping, and it's a good from Queenstown, maybe 5-hour drive around to Milford. There's a little town called Te Ao now, that's probably about an hour and a half drive. So look, you can park yourself up at Te Ao now for a couple of nights, explore a few things around there. It's actually quite spectacular area in New Zealand. I used to live probably in a straight line, probably a few hundred miles north of here. Grew up on the west coast, moved to Australia later on in life, so I do like coming home and spending some time here. Alright, how are we going? So, okay, we're heading to Gosper. We can see that. Gosper, 7 nautical, should be at around just over 10 and a half. Looking good. And airspeed 245, so let's just drop that down. Come on, down we go. So 246, so 210 is the next, and we need to be above 10,000 or above. And yeah, remember that I said before in the map we had to be above that 10,000. So 4 nautical. Look, I'm happy now just to drop that down to 210, just to keep that airspeed. Whoop, don't need that yet. Righto. Gosper, 10-8. Okay, so we're going to hold here at 10 until we hit Arctic, and then we'll drop down to 8-7. I'm happy to turn my landing lights on, and 10,000. Look, I'm going to turn my barrow and hit the B key and just reset that barrow. 2981, 2988 on the meter on my site, so pretty close. 2188, 2988, 2981. So we'll go with the aircraft. Alright, 2.2 nautical till we hit uptuck. Airspeed still 210, so we'll leave 210 for a few more minutes. So there's the airstrip, I think down through here, can't quite see it. So we'll be flying, I think, down this valley. Alright, so we're heading down to 8700 or above. So our V speed is taking us down 950 feet per minute. So it's all calculated with the vertical navigation. And we're on profile there, it's really good. Alright, airspeed still 210, 210 it is. It's going to put flap 1 down. So flap 1. Going to put flap 2 down. Or it's actually down to flap 5. I think it's below 250, you can put it down to 25. I think the flaps down here, so you can zoom into that, maybe write them down. But you can tell with that red line you don't want your flap setting, your speed going into the red, you'll get an alarm. Alright, so we were up to 110, still at 210, sorry. Reference speed 125 to 130. Okay. I'm going to drop my airspeed 205. $196. gonna flick that down to 188. And go flat 10. One 7.9.
Terrain, pull up.
And then we're going to get our gear down. We're around the 12, so I'm going to put gear down. $169. We can see my legs page 169, 144, and 130 will be our ref speed at 40 degrees. Looking good. So we'll see a good, actually good visual of the airstrip tonight or this afternoon. Right, I'm just going to put another stage of flaps down.
2,500.
$144. Let's just drop that down. And look, I'm pretty don't want that. Just hitting the wrong button. So what did I say? 130. Let's put our landing speed 130. And let's put another stage of flaps. Visual 30. Let's get this set up. Just using up and down arrows just to kind of give me a central there.
Terrain, pull up. Terrain, pull up. Terrain, pull up. Terrain, pull up.
Okay, so we're just going to go just nice stable there. So I'm just going to go full flaps.
Terrain, pull up.
So 40, 130 is correct.
Pull up.
So look, I'm pretty happy. I'm going to come off autopilot, turn the alarm off, and I have control. So let's just let's sit on that 3 degree line. It's our descent. So it's a little bit offset here. So let's just just going to set my auto brakes ready.
Terrain, pull up. 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 500.
Alright, so look, good profile here, to right, to red.
400.
Looking good. Whoa.
300.
So once I hit the deck,
50.
my speed brakes will go up and
40,
I will
30,
hit
20,
reverse thrusters.
10,
Looking good. Down we go, nice and stable. Thrusters on, and stay by a little bit of brake. Looking good. And I can start bringing my flaps in. Looking good. Let's just scoot off here. Alright, so NZQN. Don't know where I'm going to park. Let's go to the left here. Oh yeah, this will do. See if we can get in here. It's a bit tight, but see what we can do. Okay. Alright, we'll put our brakes on. Looks like we could turn our APO on now, or we could have done it before we do kilometres out. Yeah, so hopefully that just helps somebody. As I said, you could get several pilots will fly this a little bit different, but it's somewhere to start. And then from here you can just add to your knowledge. As I said, I'm still learning the fly pad here. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching.